Can't hear me. There you are. How you doing? Can you hear me? Oh, you got your mic off now. Now it's you.
Hey, Roger.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to see you.
You too, man. I was wondering if I was late to the meeting, and I just got off a call, and I said, "Oh man, I'm going to hop in." And looks like you just started, right? Or is
Yeah, we're just getting ready. I'm queuing everybody up from the waiting room. Hey, Angela. Good to see you.
Hi, Angela.
They're coming on now, so I'm admitting everybody into the room. So we'll have Dr. Needham joining us here in just a minute. And good to see you, Richard. See Richard's on there. Mike is off, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to get together here. I think you're going to find this really powerful. So, and people are queuing in now at the moment. So there you are, Dr. Needham. Good to see you. We're
Is this new mic system I'm using working?
yeah, you sound good.
Good, great.
Sound good.
I've got those new ears, you know, that make you look like what's that big ogre, whatever his name was.
Oh, Shrek?
Shrek, yeah, I got my Shrek ears on.
Your Shrek ears. I gotta get me some Shrek ears. I gotta get me some hair poof or something. I was having my daughter, she wants to put my hair into a Viking ponytail. So, hey, Angela, good to see you. I'm just paying attention here to everybody as they're queuing in. Good to see you, Ella.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm showing twice. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Actually, I think your other one disappeared. So I'm glad to have you guys here today. I think we're waiting for everybody to get queued up. I think we're going to have quite a little get together. I wanted to do this private. I'm going to make sure I record too, because I know Dr. Needham, whenever he speaks, has tremendous gems. So, and Dr. Needham, I'm also going to make you co-host so that if you need to take control of the screen and
yeah, we'll want to share one slide.
Yeah, so I'll make that. I just made you co-host there. So we got more people joining us here. Give it just a few more minutes, and then I'll start the recording, and we'll get it all set up here. So I'm glad you guys could make it. I was worried, you know, I usually reboot the computer to give it time to clear out the cache so that when it comes up, it's fresh. And all of a sudden it decided to think and take longer. And so I'm like looking at my watch and I'm saying, okay, the scripture, Lord, be anxious for nothing. Lord, you realize I want this to go off. Be anxious for nothing kept coming to me. So I'm glad that we're finally back up and online here. So, all right, well, let me go ahead and start the recording, and then we'll kick it off here. Let me put this recording on. Oh, it's good. It is recording. Good. All righty. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I know you guys have really done a tremendous effort to help with TriVision Global and what the vision that the Lord imparted in me, which was to set the captives free, John 11:44. And as you know, we have worked hard to get the message out and the materials out and the content out to help people. And with this whole just dynamic and challenges and obstacles and the whole COVID thing, money has been really tight. And so I had been seeking the Lord, asking for direction. How do we fund this? What do we do? You said that whatever we put our hands to will prosper. And as one of the emails that went out today, I don't know if you guys are getting some of the emails from the databases that are part of our family, but I'm sending out emails to the tribe to wake them up, because I realize this is not just important for us at TriVision, but I think it's important for the whole tribe, because it seems that money is something that everybody struggles with to try to have it plentiful. And so one of the emails that went out was about the zigzag principle. And that is, you know, God's way of getting us to where he wants us to go is not usually a straight line. It's a zig here and a zag there. And, you know, you look at Joseph's life and he had a great vision to be ruler, and all of a sudden, you know, he's thrown into the Joseph pit, and then he goes to slavery, and then he goes to prison, right? And then finally, after a long journey, he sits next to the throne with the king, or the king of Egypt. And so it was a long journey, and I think that's been the case for all of us. And so back in April, I was actually, when we were getting ready to launch the King's Table, or the Heaven's Dream Builders Academy, I was looking for a Facebook team, as you guys remember. And one of the people that helped me was Dr. Cheryl Ann Needham, Dr. Robert Needham's wife. And she said, oh, you got to talk to my Facebook person. So I started talking to them, and he passed off this comment really quickly about covenanting with the Lord that he learned from Dr. Robert Needham. And so I called up Cheryl Ann. I said, Cheryl Ann, I said, how did you, why did you keep your husband away from me, for so long? I needed to hear what he shared 5 years ago when we first met. And so kind of laughed, and she said she'd throw me a bone and introduce me to him. And so we started working together with a project that he has. And actually, let me pull up a screen here for you. He had a project going on, and so we started to help him there. And as we got to get to know each other, and he was telling me about some of the things that he had going on, I realized, this is a man I want to, join with. When God brings certain people into your life, you want to ensure that you can, develop a good relationship with them. You realize that this is someone, you've heard Jim Rohn say, and other people say, that you are the combined average of the 5 people that are in your life. And so I'm very careful of who I want to connect with and very join arms with. And Dr. Needham was one of those people. And so Dr. Needham, for you guys who don't know him, I'm just going to show this really quick. He's a remarkable individual. God has done a tremendous work in him. I don't like to necessarily praise men, but rather praise God and what he does in men. And Dr. Needham's heart,
Amen,
has been, yielded to the Lord so that the Lord can do his work in his life. And as a result, his journey, he's got 33 years of business advisory, management, consulting experience to small and large businesses. He's been recognized as a thought leader in business and finance, franchising, collaborative platforms, disruptive technology. I mean, you can read it there, and it's longer. I can't even fit everything that God has done in this man's life on this page. But one of the things that he blessed me with when we started working together was his book, Escaping Economic Slavery. You've heard me talk a little bit about it. This thing is eye-opening. It reveals why we're stuck the way we are, how big government, big business, big tech is literally keeping us enslaved. One of the things that hit me was he said that, slavery is when, the master pays for your house and for your food. Economic slavery is when when you have to pay for your own food and housing. And so that really struck with me. He's also been deeply involved in the franchise market. He just launched a program called Solving the Puzzle of Buying a Franchise. I think, if I'm correct, I know Dr. Needham will correct me, but he's been very, very big in that space, one of the influential leaders there. And then, of course, he's also getting ready to launch his new program, You and I Together, which is in the collaborative space. So when it comes to understanding business and the marketplace and finance, this guy knows what he's talking about. And so I didn't put together a long PowerPoint. I wanted to make this informal, reach out to my tribe, because as I was working with him, he introduced me to something that I really believe is going to be the answer to the funding needs of TriVision Global. And I don't want it to just be the funding needs. I want it to bless everybody that's helped me with TriVision Global and give you guys an opportunity to prosper as well. And so I think as he unpacks it, you're going to see and catch vision of how this can bless you guys as well. And for those of you who are not part of TriVision Global, the team, I've also given the opportunity to extend this to our subscribers, because I know you guys have seen the emails that have gone out and the content that's gone out. And I've been wanting to bless you, but we need financing too, and you guys need financing. And so I wanted to open this up to you guys as well, as an invitation, a special invitation, because we're never going to have this opportunity again, guys. That's something I learned. There's a one time for everything. And this is the one time that we have in this close-knit environment of us who have cared and worked with each other since August of last year we started. It's been about a year now, a little over a year, to have a rare opportunity, an intimate encounter like this with Dr. Needham. So Dr. Needham, I don't want to say anything more. I want to turn it over to you and let you take over here, because I think this answer is going to be the answer no matter what happens in the economy, whether it's another pandemic, a political issue, or whatever. This is the one thing I think that really is going to change people's lives. So I turn it over to you and let you take over.
Well, first of all, thanks for everyone for having me with you tonight. I'm excited to share with you a few things. You know, you don't get to be in business for 33 years unless you get to be old. So I'm now 65, and I used to be the youngest guy in the room. Now it seems like I'm the oldest guy in the room, and so I've come to appreciate that with time, hopefully comes wisdom, at least a few scars, if nothing else. And so I want to share a few ideas with you tonight, ending with a business concept that I think will benefit you. But I want to, you know, Roger shared my story. He indicated that I had helped develop, you know, number of franchises. I did about 300 brands, and I've helped a lot of others along the way. More than 1,000 businesses have launched in my 33 years. Now, they weren't all mine, of course, but I've helped that many people, and it's been a blessing. But there's been a consistent theme throughout all of those people, and it's that they have usually not enough money to launch their business, and their plan may or may not have considered what does the market want at this time. So I'd like to speak about that as we share with each other today. I guess I gotta hit the admit button here. As we share with each other these ideas, I want to spend some time with you talking about that. So I'm going to step back to the basics. One of the things I have been able to accomplish in my life is I've built 2 very large financial services agencies, and about 16,000 agents altogether, which is a pretty big recruiting effort. And one of the first things I earned very early in the financial services business was a concept called the Rule of 72. And so while it's a very basic principle, and many of you may in fact know this principle, I'd like to cover a couple of interesting aspects by it. And that's a very simple formula. If you have a sheet of paper, I'd encourage you to write this down. If you take the number 72 and you divide it by the interest rate that you're earning from your vehicle, it tells you in a good approximation of how long it takes your money to double. Now, many people today trust the banks. And so I looked it up just a couple of days ago. I wrote an article for LinkedIn, and so I had to do a little bit of research. And right now, the average interest rate on savings accounts in America is 0.6%. But let's be generous and call it 1%, because the math's too hard at 0.6. So if we take 72 and we divide it by 1%, it says to us that it will take 72 years for the money that we have in our bank account to double. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm a little bit older than maybe most of you, and I certainly don't believe that I have 72 years left on this earth. And so in that reality, the likelihood of whatever I put in savings today doubling in my lifetime is remote. In fact, if you're above 12 years old, chances are it won't double in your lifetime either. Now, interestingly enough, right now, inflation is a little over 2%. So let's be conservative and just use 2, because once again, 2 is easy to divide by. So if we take 72 and we divide it, we get 36. So it says that inflation will erode our dollar by half every 36 years at 2%. Now, we've seen inflation as high as 6, 8, and sometimes even 15%, but let's believe that it's not going to get any higher than it is right now, although I'm a little bit doubtful about that. But let's just do that. So every 36 years. So that means if we started with $1,000 at 1% in the bank, in 72 years, it'd be worth a whopping $2,000. However, when we consider inflation and we take the rule of 72s and divide it by 2, in every 36 years, then our $1,000 will be worth $500 in 36 years. So in 72, it would be worth $250. Now, you know this to be true because when your parents bought their home, they paid a lot less than you likely did. And they fussed at you as a kid saying, why do you need to buy such an expensive house? See, because their lives were locked in a time when there wasn't much inflation. But in these last 20 or 30 years, we've all experienced a lot of inflation. I mean, consider just the price of a home has risen greatly. I can remember when my parents bought me my first new car, which was really the family's new car. They just called it mine. But when they bought the first new car, they paid $3,600 for it. Today, that car would easily cost probably $36,000. Now, that's been about 40 years ago. And so, or I guess, gosh, close to 50 years ago, excuse me. And so, you know, the price of cars have gone up 10 times in 50 years. So there is inflation. You can remember when milk was even a lot less, I'm sure. So this gives you a good idea about this rule of 72s. So that leads me to a concept called the dream equation. And let's see if I can get this thing to share a screen. It looks like it will. So I'm sharing a screen with you. If I can get this thing to go up big like that, okay, great. And this I came up with about 1984 or 5 time frame, and I called it the dream equation of life. It actually helped me build the 16,000 person sales force we talked about once before. But basically this equation goes like this. If I had an equation where I told you for sure I could tell you exactly how to make your dreams come true, would you want me to share that with you? Well, of course you would. So let's talk about what dreams are. For most people, their dream list is to own a home, it's to buy a car, it's to educate their children, it's to have good quality health, to retire with dignity and not have to clean tables at Wendy's, and to be able to purchase some adult toys, you know, like a boat or a vacation home or some other thing that might entertain you. These are typically, after doing more than 20,000 financial needs analysis, these were the goals that the majority of those families said they were interested in. I'm sure you could probably relate to some of them too. So the dream equation says that if I have my dream set, my things that I want to achieve in my lifetime, they're equal to a formula. And by the way, I was a mathematician in my younger years. I was a NASA rocket scientist, believe it or not, and they paid me to launch space shuttles for a living. And so I'm used to formulas, so I, of course, made this up to look like a formula. So the formula says that if you take time plus money divided by distractions, multiplied times a vehicle, it tells you what it takes to make your dreams come true. So let's discover vehicles for a second. Now, for many of us, a vehicle is a JOB, a job, which stands for just over broke. And it's kind of like the great American standoff. You work just hard enough so they don't fire you, and they pay you just enough so you don't quit. And that's called economic slavery in that book that Roger shared with you earlier. The subtitle of that book is From Scarcity, which is the law of supply and demand, to abundance, which is what the kingdom operates on, through a concept called sharing capitalism, which means we have to go from the pyramid, which is where most people today live under, where there's a corporate executive at the top, or there's the limited few wealthy at the top, and the majority of us are at the bottom, to a circle, which is the way the king established his kingdom. And he said that we are all equal from the cross. And as a mathematician, that says to me that all points equal distance from a single point defines a circle. So I believe his economic system is circular, not pyramidal by nature. So as we take a look at that then, so what really affects this equation? Now, if you remember when you were in school, when you talk about fractions, if the number on the top is bigger than the number on the bottom, you get a multiple. But if the number on the bottom is bigger than the number on the top, you get a fraction, or you get less than 1. So here's what I know. It doesn't really matter whether you choose a job, a profession, a business, an investment, you inherit the money, or you even win the lottery as your vehicle. Depending upon your fraction, it determines how successful you're going to be and whether or not your dreams will come true. So what's interesting about time is that we all have the same 24 hours. So it's a constant in this equation. It really doesn't matter who you are. We all have the same 24 hours. It's how we invest those 24 hours that matters. When you add that to your money, we of course all want to spend the least amount of money to get the maximum amount of result. Wouldn't you agree with that? And so as a result, our vehicle, no matter what we choose, is a function of that. However, the biggest thing is distractions. And what I've learned about distractions is that they're all equal. Whether it's you got to watch your garden hose unroll, or you've got to spend too much time at the church, or whether you have to, you sew a lot and that's all you really want to do, or whether you just got to watch the latest sitcom every night that's on television. Whatever it is that keeps you out of focus for what it is you're trying to do is a distraction. And so what I've learned is the secret to making your dreams come true is to minimize your distractions to maximize your dreams. Because see, if I can, it doesn't matter how much money and time I put in, if my distractions are greater, I weaken my vehicle till it can't succeed. So there are many great vehicles, and we're going to talk about a couple of those as we go through the rest of this today. But I just wanted you to get this sense of this thing. So going back to our big screen then. So the next thing I want to talk to you is about money in general. Now, money is broken down, in my opinion, into 3 classes. The first class is called income. And we're used to earning income typically from a job or maybe from our savings account. And we know about income and that we pay taxes on income. And that means that we have a private partner in our ability to earn income called the government. And the government figures out how to be your partner, typically at around 25% on average. So it's like this. You start a business, you work all day in that business, you ring the cash register many times, and at the end of the day, your private partner steps in, opens the cash store, takes out 25% of your money, and leaves and didn't work at all. That doesn't make too many of us happy. So we need to find strategies in order to avoid the tax man coming, taking money out of our cash register. Our cash register is typically our paycheck in this case. Now, what's interesting is there's really only 2 great tax deductions left in America today. One of those is owning a home. So certainly real estate is an excellent vehicle. Honestly, I'm not an expert in real estate. I've bought a number of homes in my lifetime, but I've never actually invested in commercial real estate because I'm scared to death to rent something to someone like that. However, my son has done it, and he makes a lot of money with real estate. So apparently real estate must be a good investment. The other one is to own a business. Now, the problem with owning a business is 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years. If that's the case, then that's a pretty scary thing to do. If you think about it, starting your own business, because you may have to put up your life savings. And when I used to sell a lot of franchises, like I told you, and the average cost of a franchise in America for a service franchise is $150,000, and for a brick and mortar franchise is $250,000. The average man or woman just doesn't have that kind of money laying around. Now, y'all might, but the average people I ran into just didn't have that kind of money laying around. So what they would do is they would get themselves a small business administration loan. They would mortgage their 2 children, everything they have, to the government, and they would give them a low interest loan. And if the business failed, well, they took your kids and they took your house and they took everything else. Some of us might be happy if they took our kids, but in this case, what I'm saying is taking debt to start a business is very risky. Okay, and that's why most businesses fail, because they can't figure out how to get the cash flow before the money runs out. So why in the world would anybody want to own a business? Well, the answer is this the best tax deduction in America today? For example, my CPA tells me that I can have my cell phone, my internet, and anything I have to do with technology go through my business, and I can write it all off because I use it in my business. Well, I don't know about you, but my cost of my internet, my cell phone, and my television subscription can easily be $200 to $300 a month. It's nice to be able to write that off and pay no taxes on it. There are many other tax deductions. One of the best ones is mileage. So moving along now, I'm not here to teach you about finances and how to run a business, but I did want you to get some sense of it. So if we take a look at that, then choosing the right vehicle for us in these times is difficult. Now, I was before the Lord the other day, and he gave me a word, and I'm going to share that word with you. And that word was, he said, I often use crisis to eliminate my enemies. Don't wait for the giants to die before you take your mountain. Now that speaks to me because if you remember the cover of my book, I have a giant on the cover of my book and I have a mountain. So it kind of, the Lord speaks to us in language we can understand. But what that really says to me is don't worry about this crisis right now. We've gotten COVID crazy. We've gotten all kinds of crazy. But really, this too shall pass, probably about November the 3rd. It just seems it'll work out that way. Amazingly, all of a sudden, we won't have to wear masks and everything will be just fine. They'll say it's because we have a vaccination probably, but then again, do we all really want to take that vaccination? I'll leave that up to you. So making that decision then, let's take a look at it. So we're going to earn income, and what we do with income is we spend it. If you think about it. If we get a little extra income, we tend to save it, and that's called wealth accumulation or accumulating wealth. And over time, if you get a good enough interest rate, your money will double, triple, and so on, called the magic of compound interest. And you'll get the advantage of owning a business. But what I'm saying to you here is that really wealth accumulation is just deferred spending. And remember our story about the rule of 72s, where if you save up a bunch of money, for example, if you use the old IRA to save up a bunch of money, you get this big bag of money saved up inside your IRA. What's the IRS going to do? Tax it? And you're going to have to suffer inflation against it. So I say saving money is a waste of time, if you really think about it. I just want to go straight to the third part, which is abundance. Now, you say, my goodness, how can you do that? Well, the Lord taught me about a thing called stewardship. So I want to talk about being a good steward real quick, and then we're going to get into the real final parts of our discussion this evening. If you think about it, in order to get excess, what must you know? And the answer is, how much is enough? Because until you decide how much is enough, you'll never have excess. I know people that make $500 a month who have excess. And I know people who make $50,000 a month, they're just broke at a higher level. They're terrible stewards of the blessing that God has given them. So what you have to do is you have to, first of all, covenant with the Lord. This is what Roger mentioned earlier. My wife and I prayed a lot about this, and the Lord left us with this impression, that what you have to do is you have to sit down with your loved ones. In this case, I have a spouse, so I sit down with my spouse. And we sit down and we decided together how much was enough. We determined a number. Now, what's scary about coming up with this number, first of all, it took us about 6 months to come up with that number because we were afraid of declaring a number, because the Bible says that the Lord takes a covenant very seriously. In fact, if you break your covenant with the Lord, the Bible says he has to curse you as your outcome instead of bless you. Lord, we want the Lord's blessing, so we don't want to break covenant. So what I learned is the Lord doesn't really care how much is enough for me. He doesn't care what the number is because he owns it all anyway. See, if you're a steward, you're a manager of God's resources. You never own God's resources. And when you come to that understanding, and the best way I can describe this is the parable in the Bible, which talks about the field and the corners and the edges. If you notice, the Bible is pretty silent about the field. What that is saying is the Lord will let you draw as big a field as you want or as little field as you want, and you can harvest from that field all you want, and he doesn't really have much to say about that. However, he expects you to leave the corners and the edges for those who don't have as much as you do. So that is the excess or the abundance. So God's economic plan is to share your abundance with his kingdom. So in order to be a good steward, you have to get to a place of abundance. And so this year we came up with our number. By the way, we reset it each year because things change. And so this year we came up with our number and we asked the Lord to be faithful and give us that number. And he promises that if we ask him, he's a good father and he'll give us what we ask for. Some of us ask very largely and ridiculously, though, and we don't back it up with our labor. So I'm not saying God's a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? But rather he expects you to co-labor with him or cooperate with him in order to achieve what he has for you. So I came up with a strategy for that, and I did that. So you can be abundant today as soon as you decide how much is enough. So one of my challenges from this time together tonight is for you to sit down with your loved ones and think about how much would be enough, at least for the next 12 months. And then covenant with the Lord at some percentage, more than tithe though, because the tithe is sort of the expected thing, right? The Lord is looking for you to have an abundant mindset, which would be, could you give even 100% of everything over how much is enough? Or maybe you could give 90% or 75%. You know what? There is no wrong answer. The Lord's just looking to partner with you, and that's what he's asking for. He says, give me a number so I can give you that number, and then ask me for the corners and the edges so you can give it to others. I'm sure that makes sense to you. So with that in mind, we find ourselves in crisis. You know, our country had been shut down since, I guess most people would say probably March, April timeframe. It really got shut down good. And many people have suffered. We reached millions of people out of work. Many of them have got to go back to work, but many of them not at the kind of money that they were making before. So what we realize is that the vehicle has been diminished by a crisis, and that crisis is a distraction. So we can either choose to pay attention to that crisis, or we can simply act as if. Okay, act as if the crisis doesn't matter. And I challenge you to think that way, because it's not a crisis to the Lord. So if you act as if you are not in crisis, then you can move forward without that distraction dragging you down. So with that said, I started to take a look at vehicles. And by the way, in March and April, when the stock market fell, I heard a word that said I should buy Avis Rent-A-Car. I actually heard it on Fox News. It wasn't from the Lord. It was from one of those guys on Fox News. But it rang in my brain as if it was from the Lord. So I went and looked, because I'm not very good at the stock market either. And sure enough, he had said that it might fall to 78 cents like it did in 2008. Well, I didn't believe that. And it didn't. It fell to a little over $8. And I bought along the way between $8 and $10. And today it's trading at $33 in just a few months' time. In fact, I bought several stocks in the travel industry, and I made 120% on my money in about 3 months' time. So that was a great deal. But the stock market has recovered. And so I'm not here to teach you how to pick stocks because I'm lousy at it. I'm not good at real estate and I'm not good at stocks. So I started thinking about, well, what else could I do? Well, there's one financial service that no matter what happens, good or bad, in fact, it thrives in a crisis, and it's called Forex, foreign exchange. And most people think that's only for the rich, but did you know that you can do Forex for as little as $100? But the question is how to do Forex, because it is a little complicated. So you have to go to school. Now, many of us have gone to school and learned a lot of things, but they never even taught us how to balance our checkbook, right? So what kind of course would I take? Well, I went out and looked on the internet to see what kind of courses I could take in Forex, and I found everything from free to $20,000. And what I know is that I can't afford $20,000. And free, well, that's what you get, nothing, right? So I went and found some experts, and I found a company. I want to talk to you about this company. It's called Tradera. And Tradera.org is the company's name. And there they have a course that teaches you how to learn the Forex business. I'm not the one to teach you the Forex business, but they know it inside out. And so what I'm going to share with you is that they found a way to give you that $20,000 course for $99 a month. So they have made it extraordinarily affordable to go to school and learn how to trade. Then in addition to that, they provide all the expert support and services, and they don't charge you for that. It's still just $99 a month. So everything you need to learn how to do that. And what's interesting is that with Forex, if you learn how to do it well, you could lose money if you don't know how to do it well. But if you learn how to do it well, you could double your money in 1 year. Now, if we take 72 and we divide it by 100, well, all of a sudden, our money doubles in less than 1 year's time, right? So that is the secret to how we get to abundance quickly, is find a way that in crisis, we can multiply and live an abundant life. Now, most people say, well, I don't have any money to invest. And I can relate to that. 3 years ago, I had a massive heart attack, quadruple bypass surgery, and I didn't work for a year. And I learned to have way too much month at the end of my money. My hospital bill alone was $450,000. But the Lord was graceful and we paid it off in 2 years' time. So I want you to know that there's a way to do all of these things if you just get the right information. So the question is, if you don't have the $100 a month, Tradera has come up with a way for you to get that for free. All you have to do is invite 3 other people to take the course. Not complicated. Just invite them to go to a link that you can provide them because it's an affiliate type program. If 3 people buy the course, yours is free. Now you can learn how to do that. And then if you can come up with $100, you can start trading. But I know this, that it would be better to trade with $500 or $6,000 or $10,000. So I wanted to find a way to make some extra income. So if you're willing to spend $15, they will let you start a business with them to continue to sell courses beyond the 3. And when you have at least 10 courses sold, you are making $500 a month. Well, you could either spend that because you have too much month at the end of your money, or you could put it in Forex and invest it. Or you could do it every other month, or you could just do it however you want to. So all of a sudden, I found a business where I could learn to do that. Well, then as I investigated that side of the business, what I found is that if I help others learn to do what I just said, just like if I were to refer them to buy a hamburger at $2.99 a pound, or whatever else I might refer them to do that's good news, then I would be able to earn more than $500 a month. In fact, until recently, they showed you ways to make up to $100,000 a month. Now, that sounds pretty ridiculous if you ask me, until I met 3 people that are doing it in less than 9 months' time. But see, I think most people can't understand that. But what if it was an extra couple of $1,000s a month? Would that change your life? You can do that with a very few number of people. So I would encourage you to consider that after this training that we've done here about money, that Roger might send you a link to take a look at this course. I believe this is a great way to finance ministries. In fact, I was speaking to a friend of mine who works with Native Americans. He actually runs Native American missions, and they're always struggling for money. His name is Vic Luttrell. And he works with I think it's 29 nations that are out there. He travels the country back and forth, meeting with the tribal leaders and stuff. And he took it to the First Council in Oklahoma, and they just went nuts over this idea because, first of all, they suffer greatly from financial literacy. They do not know how to manage money. Even though the government gives them money, most of them are poor. But even though most of us have a job, most of us are poor. In fact, the statistic says that most Americans are only the loss of 2 paychecks from financial disaster. So I'm sure none of you on this call are in that position, but if you know someone who is, this will help them. So here's the simple thing. You can buy the course for $99 a month directly from them using Roger's affiliate link, or maybe you're sharing your affiliate link with someone else. When 3 people have bought that course, yours is free. If you decide to go beyond that, you spend $15, and they allow you to then earn as much as you would like to earn, way above $500. I've met many people that in this year are making $100,000, $50,000, $20,000. In fact, believe it or not, one of the biggest questions when you look at a product, you should ask yourself this one question: do people buy it? Since the first of this year, more than 100,000 people have bought this course. And right now, nearly 600 to 1,000 people a day are buying this course. And they are revolutionizing how it is. And interesting enough, 50% of them never refer more than 3 people. They simply get their course for free and they start trading their own account. But for others who want to network a team, you can earn even more. So that's basically it. I believe my calling is to help others prosper everywhere, which spells hope. And I believe I'm to do that to people who want to run both regular ministries and marketplace ministries to help others. So I hope what I've shared with you this evening is just that, a way to help you prosper yourself and others through a concept of sharing by learning how to trade Forex, something you probably never thought of, that can help you multiply. So I'm saying there's 2 vehicles. There is the way to trade Forex as a vehicle that pays a lot more than 1%, like at the bank, and also a way to have a business where you can get maximum tax deductions and potentially earn thousands of dollars per month. Roger, I don't know what else much I could say, but I might answer some questions if people would like me to answer a few questions, or if that's not your format, then we could just say thank you and you can turn me off.
I wanted to emphasize here and put up this slide while we're talking. I know we've all worked really hard to try to prosper and bring funds into the kingdom of heaven. We all have a heart for what God's trying to do in the earth. And the biggest challenge that we have, because we've been trying to fund TVG SSM for some time. And when you look at what am I going to put my hands to prosper, right? You talk about a business, but when you look at the business, there's a lot of heartache that goes into a business, right? There's only so much you can do per hour, per day. There's only so much burden you can carry. If you want to open your own, like we were trying to do, digital marketing company, then there's only so many clients I can take. And then I have to deal with all the challenges and the headaches that come from that. The scope crawl, when a client asks for more than you ask for, the changes in their requirements, or the headaches and the challenges that you deal with when maybe they're frustrated and they're upset, and it carries over into your family. So that's really hard. And you can only carry about 4 or 5 clients if you're doing that. When you look at trying to launch, maybe in the digital marketing space, and you're trying to do courses and ebooks, there's tons of content development. When you try to do franchise, like Dr. Needham says, right? Look at all that goes into a franchise, or running a restaurant or a business. You're tied to the business. You can't go anywhere. So it's really challenging. And then all of a sudden, when you had the pandemic hit, now everybody who had a business that relied on people, a lot of people experienced a huge drawback in income, a huge cut. And so I was looking, how do we fund TVG? How do we fund our dream? How do we continue to stick around to bless other people with what we have? And when Dr. Needham shared about Tradera, I thought, well, my gosh, this could be the answer. And then he introduced me to Megan, as you can see on the slide there. Is the slide lit up?
It is. I can see it.
Okay, I don't know if it's big enough here. So when you look at, Megan Lynch, here's a woman that in the pandemic, she went from 0 in March. When we met her on Sunday, she was talking, she's doing $100,000 a month. She told us, I don't even know how to spend $100,000 a month. And I'm thinking, I could help you. I could figure out what to do for $100,000 a month, but do I need $100,000 a month? No, I don't. I took what Dr. Needham shared with me about covenanting with the Lord. And I shared an amount with the Lord that would work for me and my family, so we could set aside income for the kids for the next year, so we could pay off our expenses. And I realized, there's several questions that people ask when they look at something. The first thing they ask is, can I make money with this, right? That's the first thing they ask. Second thing they ask is, can I do it, right? A lot of people are worried, do I know how to do it? Do I not know how to do it? And then one of the questions they ask too is it fun? Can I have fun? Because people don't have a lot of fun in their life. And so when I looked at this, I realized, you know what, this is simple. It's easy. I can do it. I can spend a few hours a day learning this content, doing it. And Megan shared, she doesn't even learn how to trade. She just responds to the prompts when the company sends her a prompt and says, buy this. And she responds to the prompt when it says, sell that. That's all she does. And she's earning income there. I thought, well, I could do that if she's doing that. And I don't have to learn the whole thing and become a master at it. I just respond to the prompts. The second thing is, it can be done anywhere, no matter what happens in the economy. Like Dr. Needham was saying, people need to trade. Forex, if you do a little research, it's so instrumental in countries doing trade and going back and forth that they have to exchange their monies, and that exchange is the percentages is where we're making our money. So I started to learn a little about that. I thought, well, that's recession proof. That's pandemic proof. That's government proof. Because no matter what happens, they've got to trade in the economy, and that's powerful. And so
you make money going both ways. You can make money going both ways, up or down.
Yeah, you make money going both ways. And I thought, well, that's pretty good, because in the stock market, for most people, you make money when it goes up. When it goes down, unless you're, a seasoned say that 10 times fast, stock trader, then you're going to lose money. And so here's something real simple. These guys are seasoned experts. They know what they're doing. They just tell you when to buy, when to sell, and you just follow their lead. So I started thinking, man, if I could grab a hold of Megan's coattail with Robert, we could do something pretty powerful. And so the past couple of days, I've been kind of mulling over, what can we do, Lord? What would you have? And this is what came in my heart. And this is what I want to do for you guys is I call it Project 777. What is Project 777? It's helping 700 people earn $70,000 a month or more in 7 months. Megan did 100,000 or more in under 6 months. And I thought, well, gosh, even if we don't hit 70,000, what if we hit 7,000 a month or whatever? I mean, that would be pretty powerful. And so I thought, okay, we got 3 goals. The first goal is help everybody that I know. And I wanted to go to my team first because I want to help prosper you guys, because I know as we prosper, I can both pay you and at the same time, I can equip you guys to prosper yourself. So the first goal would be to hit $500 a month. Megan said her and her team did that in 7 days. She took 8 people. She got on the phone with the pandemic and basically started talking about what was going on. And in less than 7 days, they hit $500 a month. The second goal would be to hit $5,000 a month, right? In incremental steps. The third goal, let's get you up to 10,000 a month. And then the fourth goal, her 18-year-old son. How many months has she been in it, Robert, her son?
He's been in it. It's only been about 3 months.
3 months, and the guy's up to 20 grand a month. I mean, that's absurd. I mean, this is unbelievable. I've been around big money before, but not when it's moving this fast. I mean, what are they having 1,000 people a day coming on board this system? And so that's pretty much it. That's what I'm
That's
thinking.
just in Megan's group now.
Yeah, that's just in Megan's group. And we have her commitment to Dr. Needham and to us that she'll work directly with us, give us her playbook, and help us build this thing out. And so I thought, you know what? I got to reach out to my team, let them know about it. What we're going to do is I'm going to pick 3 leaders. We're going to work directly with Dr. Needham, and we're going to start building this out. And everybody that's on the presentation tonight, if you guys decide to do it, I'm going to work with my 3 leaders, and then we're going to start building the organization underneath those 3 leaders. And as the spillover and overflow goes, we're going to continue building out the group as it goes. So those of you tonight who are here, you've got the first mover shot at being part of our initial team. And from there, every time we do this, everybody's going to go and we're going to start building underneath you and building underneath them and building and building and building. So like I said in my email, this is a one-shot chance at being at the start of something pretty powerful. I've been in the business a long time. I've been in all the network marketing, pills, potions, lotions, water filters, you name it. And those things are pretty hard to move. You got to store inventory in your garage. You got to do inventory sales. You got to go out and do flyers and ads. And it is a pain in the rear end. This is the simplest thing I have ever seen in my lifetime. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you guys are tired of struggling and you're frustrated, I wanted to invite you to be part of the team. Dr. Needham shared something with me before, and there's a 3-month hurdle to get your license, and it's going to take a long time. And a lot of people can't get that 3-month license. Here, you don't need a license. It's plain and simple, straightforward, and real easy to do. So enough said. If you guys have questions, I want to turn it over to Dr. Needham to let you answer their questions, Dr. Needham.
Sure, be happy to. The one thing I will say is that not only do you not have to have a license, but we actually don't sell. You won't be selling Forex to anybody. That takes licensed brokers, and they don't care which brokerage firm you do business with. They advise to all of them. So as a result, you can join any one of those you choose. There's many to choose from. They have suggestions, but really it's as simple as carrying around your cell phone, and when it dings, you decide buy or sell. It's really no more complicated than that. And you don't, some people trade by the minute, some people trade by the month. It's really your choice.
So guys, don't be afraid. Ask Dr. Needham. He doesn't bite. He's gentle as a dove and ferocious as a lion when he needs to be. But please feel free to ask questions, because
if I don't know, I promise I won't make it up. We'll just get you the answer.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to hype things up, guys. This is real. This is when we're going to meet with the CEOs come Sunday. So those who are on our team will meet with them. Megan is available. There's no hype, no fluff. She's straight shooter. I can send more information if you guys need it.
She was an English teacher.
Yeah. And she was getting ready to start a school when this was brought to her. So
she got a grant, and they fired her from her regular job because she got the grant and was going to build a school. So they just fired her. And she was happy that they did, because then she found Tradera. Now she can fund her own university if she wants to. I actually predict she'll be at $1 million a month, probably within the next 12 months.
Yeah, and she's a woman of faith, guys. She's not, and she gives credit to the Lord. She loves God, and she gives him the credit for bringing this into her life at this time. This was it was her biggest blessing. So, but please ask questions, guys. This is a rare chance we get to have Dr. Needham.
Hey, Roger, Robert, can you hear me?
I
Yeah,
sure
we hear
can.
you, George.
All right. Thank you for the invite. I had to step away from the office, so I'm on the road. Hopefully, I won't be cut off too much. My question was just because, with the world that we're living, the fly-by-night businesses and organizations,
Yes.
it sounds incredible. A few years ago, we got involved with a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin organization, and started earning money there. But as quickly as it came, it disappeared
left.
overnight. Yep. And so I'm assuming that, of course, being the sage, wise man that you are, Robert, that you've done your due diligence and
I have.
and done the research on how long they've been in business and
I have.
the leadership.
The two leaders are interestingly enough, this is going to freak you out. They're 24 years old.
Wow.
They're already they were multimillionaires before they started Tradera because they went to college at 16, was in medical school, started trading as a way to make some extra money, got so good at it that they dropped out of medical school, and then they've bought a lot of real estate, of course, with the money that they made from trading, and they become very wealthy. They then started a school. They weren't doing it this way. They weren't marketing this way. They were just running some ads, and they were selling a course, and they were selling it for more money than $99 a month. And they were trading, and they were happy, and they were giving their alerts and doing all of that stuff. What you need to know is it's a quadrillion-dollar industry. It is the largest industry on the face of the earth. It is not going anywhere. It does more than $5 trillion a day in transactions. I mean, it is the biggest thing you've ever seen. Most people don't know about it because we don't manage money, but money manages us. That's why I got very interested in it, because I've heard a lot of people make good money. Some people just make $50 a day, $100 a day, but if you start thinking about that, an extra $1,000 a month, is good money. And so I was interested when I first went just to learn how to do Forex, because I knew I needed a way to invest. And I figured I'd take about $1,000 of the money I earned from the stock market, and I would put it at risk, and I would learn how to do this. Well, now I've got guys that make millions of dollars as my personal coaches, and they teach, and they have all the traders and everybody every night at 8:00. They come on and tell the alerts and all that stuff. I mean, the support for this course, I don't know how they do it for $99 and pay everybody the way they do, but I think they just decided to give back.
Yeah, and Dr. Needham's went all the way up, drove up, met the CEOs, talked with Megan, and talked with everybody in the company. He's really, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't believe any of them, because I've been around some of these things. I've been shot off my horse and had my horse shot out from under me more times than you can imagine. I was telling, I think it was Shane, we had a conversation the other day, and I was saying, crisis is a fork in the road where you get a chance to make a left or right decision. And many of us can't make a decision. So as a result, there's a tree in the center of that road. We hit that tree. I've got scars on my forehead from hitting that tree. I have made, Shane says, well, still got splinters in my forehead. We've all done that. And I'm not going to say to you, George, that this business is not possible, meaning Tradera, to go out of business. But see, Tradera doesn't touch your money. You trade your money with the Forex exchange. It's not going out of business.
And that was a question that Ella had. She goes, "Is your money tied up? And if so, for how long?"
You can put your money in today and take it out this afternoon if you wanted to. It's not like a CD or anything like that. You trade for as long as you want to, quit whenever you want to.
And it pays out like right there in your e-wallet. Just
the commission from the sale of the course pays to an e-wallet, and you can draw the money every day from your e-wallet if you want to.
Yeah.
In fact, once you get above $5,000 a month, Megan makes, like, $100,000 a month right now. She draws about $5,000 a day out of her wallet.
Yeah, she said something like $25,000 a week. She's got to draw
Right.
it out.
I hate it when that happens. But,
Yeah.
let me have that opportunity, man. I can
And
promise you $100,000 a month is way above how much my enough is. I'm going to be able to bless some people seriously if I make that kind of money.
yeah.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Okay, I sure can. Is it Karen?
Yes. What is involved in the learning process? You said it's about a 3-month.
No, ma'am. You'll learn the basics of the course in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Watching videos online. Basically, you go to Tradera's website, you log into the back side of it. The course is there. You watch the videos. They give you materials that you can use to make notes with and stuff. You attend some live trainings. And then the next thing they do is they teach you how to download a place where you can practice. They have a trading floor where you can practice with funny money, like Monopoly money, and you can trade and see if you can, if what you've learned you can actually execute. So you don't put any of your money at risk, and you trade and you learn. And then when you finally get comfortable, then you start listening to the brokers that are giving this, what are called the signals, the buy signals or the sell signals. And then you decide which, say they give you 3 signals today. You may say, I'm not interested in any of those, or you might just buy one. And you buy it in the morning and you might sell it an hour later if it did what you wanted it to do. You're really in control of what happens with your money. And at any time you don't like what you're doing, you just withdraw your money and go do something else.
Yeah, you only need a couple of minutes a day if you want. Dr. Neve, do you want me to give them a tour real quick at the back end, or?
Yeah, if they'd like. Let's see if there's some couple more questions, because I think we're coming up on our, I don't know how long these are going to go. We're up on about an hour, so I want to respect their time. Does anybody have a question? Yes, tour, please. So Joanne wants you to tour. So let's ask if there's any more questions. If not, go to the tour. Any more questions?
I have one question as you prepare to go on the tour. And Robert, you probably have insight in regards to, this is just a thought, right? Because I'm pulled up right here. My thought is in regards to the book of Proverbs about gaining wealth, right, expeditiously, but then we have to recognize the seasons. Would you say that because of the season that we're in, this is where these types of multiplications take place?
It is, and that's a great point. The reason I chose Forex was because I knew the bank wasn't going to do it, the stock market wasn't going to do it. I don't know enough about real estate. I'd lose money if I did real estate as an investment. That doesn't mean you can't do that. It's just not for me. But I knew I could follow the lead of somebody, especially if I could control how much I put in and how much I take out. I could watch and observe, and it wouldn't take me long to just copy. I'm going to be a copy machine. I'm not going to try to create anything. But I know that when, some people believe that the dollar is going to drop by as much as 2/3 after the election. Well, if I'm in Forex, they'll give me a signal to sell, and I will sell, and I'll make money as the dollar goes down. So I wanted something where no matter which way the money goes, I get paid. And it doesn't matter which money it is. Today it might be euros, tomorrow it might be Swiss francs, the next day it might be the US dollar. They tend to trade in pairs. They compare 2 things to each other. So they trade those pairs, and they compete one against the other, and the difference is how you make your money is basically how it works. Well, because it's an exchange, right? You have to exchange one for the other. So how do you make the money in the trade? And so that's why I believe Forex is probably a opportunity for this season. The fact that the barrier to entry has been lowered, I think some of them will let you start with $10, okay, nowadays. But at least let's just say it's $100. $10 might be too much of a nuisance to trade, but at least $100 you could trade. And so, look, some of us can spend $100 going out for dinner. So it's not a big risk, you know. But what I like about it is you get to play in the back office and practice your trades until you feel like you're comfortable enough to call the shots yourself, and you risk nothing. Well, you pay your $100 a month for training, but where can you learn an education that can maybe make you $100,000 this year for $99 a month? There's not many places.
Yeah. And that's a good thing, George, too, because I think the thing we have to realize is we got to be faithful to the Lord and do what he tells us to do. We're not here to get rich quick by any means. That's not the motive. It's just understanding the season that we're in. And you've seen it happen on the internet, what's going on within 24 hours. I was involved back in 2009 with a campaign that generated 23.4 million in 24 hours. And that was just because it was the business of the internet and how they structured it. Now we're dealing with a whole different industry, and with the pandemic having locked everybody in and they're stuck at home, they can't make money. This is a ripe environment where all of a sudden people are saying, hey, I need to make some income. What do I do? And here's a solution. I just was on the horn with Israel today. They're going to go into lockdown again come Friday. So I've got a guy out there that's looking at this because he realizes I can't, his career is going around and giving tours of the Holy Land. And now he can't do it because they're going to be locked down. So again, I think it's also because we're ripe with everything is set and poised for massive expansion. And
But you make a good point, by the way. This business, wherever money can be exchanged with the U.S., you can do this business. You can invite people to buy this course. There's a lot of people, for example, in South America and Africa and places like that that are making money with this program already. In fact, I would say to you that the majority of at least half the people that have joined recently are not even in the United States.
We have another question here.
If for some reason, by the way, let's just say that for some reason Tradera got shut down, you get to keep your knowledge, right? And you could still trade Forex with your broker because the broker has nothing to do with Tradera.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Robert. I've got a meeting to go to, but
Yeah.
very
Thank
interested in hearing more information, so I can give me that recording, Roger, so I can share with my wife.
Yeah. And I'll push it out tonight too, the other content for you to review. So
Thank you. God bless.
thanks, George, for being here. So Randy had
Good meeting you, George. Go ahead, Randy.
Randy had a question. He said, can you do this and claim it as running your own business?
It is running your own business. Let's say this, the first 3 referrals is to get your scholarship to have your course be free. If you go beyond that and pay the $15, at that moment it becomes, they call you an IBO, an independent business owner. That's what they call you, an IBO, and it is your own business. And yes, you can take the tax deductions. And I believe you could probably argue that you could deduct the education as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they asked for a tour. So let me just give you a quick snapshot. We have the opportunity to do this.
As you know, I have some things. Do you need me to stay on for the tour or reason
No,
I'm
I
saying
think
is,
that's it. I think that's it. If people want to get started tonight, to let me know, email me. I'm going to pick my top 3 and then Robert and I will work with them. And
it's not that I'm trying to run away from you folks. My wife has not been well the last few days. And so I would like to spend some time with her.
yeah, he just brought her back
So,
to the hospital. So, yeah.
So she graciously set aside this time. And if it's okay with you, let's ask one more time. Does anybody else have a question? I'll do my best to answer. If not, I'm going to turn it over to Roger. He's more than capable of showing you those things without me present. He's more than capable of doing this presentation. He just wanted me to share with you guys. So is anybody else have a question? May the Lord bless you and keep you. And I hope that you find your path in these times. And maybe it's Tradera. God bless y'all. Take care. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, Dr. Needham. Say hi to Cheryl.
I will.
In our prayer, Ella was praying for her. So I sent you the prayer that she said.
I saw it, yes, and it was excellent. Thank you, Ella.
Yep, she's here too. All right, guys. So I'll just give you a quick tour of the back end of this so you can see it and see it's organized. It's really simple and clean, not a lot of confusion. You just go to the client and you go to the Trade Academy, and everything that you need to learn is right here, organized very simply, all by content. They have the overview, and you just click on the page and they'll have individual pages like you see here. or you might click on, you just follow the steps here, go into terminology, you get into trading basics. When you get into training analysis, then you hit the support resistance, and they have training videos. You just follow the video as you see it loads up here. If I click on the button, there you go. So it loads up. Some of the videos are short. Some of them are a little bit longer. It's pretty straightforward. Just follow the training. As far as the what I'll show you here too, because I use Telegram. They use Telegram for, those are my notes. We use Telegram for if it'll load up here. As you can see here, here's Telegram, and they just come in on the trades. They just notify you. Simple right here. Traders trade team is placing a sell trade on this, and these, you put in your stop loss. You can show the 3 different profit margins. If you want to do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. It's that simple. They just pop it up there like that. And so it's really, really straightforward, easy to do. And that's pretty much it. The interface, once you decide if this is something you want to do, once you sign up, then you get your referral link, and you can plug them into the system. We're going to be working with you guys, building your teams. So you'll have me, you'll have Dr. Needham. We even have Megan. Like I said, she came and talked with us personally on Sunday. This Sunday, if you want to get on board with us, then we're going to take our 3 leaders. We're going to be meeting personally with the 2 CEOs. They're going to have, it's going to be 3 o'clock on Sunday in the afternoon. And Megan's heart, you know, I've met a lot of people that are wealthy and they don't give you a lot of time. Megan is even willing to do a one-on-one call with me with a dear friend of mine, Marlon Smith. Marlon speaks with Tony Robbins. Les Brown travels the world, and we want to share this with him. And so she's willing to have that personal call. So it's pretty fantastic with what they're doing. But there you go. That's it. That's the back office. You can see it's pretty well, like I said, well organized and pretty simple to do. So any other questions you guys want to ask me, or anything else you need to know?
Yeah, let me ask something, and maybe this can be bounced off of Dr. Needham as well. He mentioned something I think that alludes to the question. He mentioned about there are those that are thinking that there's coming where the dollar will drop considerably, right? And I don't know if I'm assuming that that may be referred to what is called a global currency reset. I don't know if I know enough about that to say, but I think the idea behind a global currency reset may be that the U.S. dollar may drop in value. That is no longer a like a reference or a global currency, in the sense that a lot of things are tied to the U.S. dollar, right?
Yeah, they're tied to the oil, actually. Yeah.
But I'm thinking, as I think about this, is that, well, that's the dollar, but other currencies will still be traded, right?
Yeah.
So in my sort of little understanding of this, my current understanding based on that is that I don't, even in the current, even if there's a global currency reset that affects the US dollar, how much will that affect just Forex anyway?
Yeah. So in the research I did with Forex so far, what's interesting is Forex really, this foreign exchange is really the transactions that happen between countries for exporting and importing. You know, I mean, business, business is still going to be conducted, right? Exports are still going to go, imports
Right.
are still going to happen. So those exchanges, when one country is saying, hey, I'm going to send you my goods because they bought it, that country that bought the goods, whatever the value of their dollar was, it's going to be transferred or what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be exchanged for the value of the other currency. And so that transaction has to happen quickly, because if the market changes rapidly, you know, if I go to buy, I send my $5 to go buy something from China and it's 3 yuans, and I send that transaction over, it's got to transfer it over into yuan currency. And if their market, for whatever reason, crashes, my dollar is now worth more. And so they're getting more. If their currency goes up, then they have to sell it for, they're going to take a loss because I'm still, so these transactions happen very quickly. So we're making money on that up and down, like Dr. Needham said, and the transactions are happening all the time between these countries for all this commerce to go back and forth. So if, like I said, I'm not an expert by any means yet. I'm just going to continue learning. But what I wanted to do is to say, hey, look, we've looked at this. This is a solid opportunity. They've been in business a long time. As far as Forex goes, the whole world deals with this, right? I think until probably we're a one world order with one currency, and then maybe that will be gone at that point. But we're a ways from that. So, but Dr. Needham would certainly unpack that more. Those are good questions. But as far as how much the spread is and all that, I'm not an expert to tell you. But I do know that Forex isn't going to go away. Because like I said, if our dollar goes down, someone else is going to go up. Investors are going to go over there. They're always moving their money, and those exchanges have to happen all the time. So hopefully that answers it. But anybody else?
I think what I was trying to say on that was, and I didn't get to, was that to me, it seems that the Forex seems to be a better position to be in versus, say, the stock market.
Yeah.
If there's some sort of traumatic or some sort of significant event.
Yes.
And personally, I want to get out of the stock market. So I'm going
to be pulling my 401k. We got to roll it over into something else. So I'm taking out of the market. We're putting it into a special IUL, and I'm going to take a chunk of it, and we're going to use that in the Forex market. So it's much more stable than the stock market. I don't know enough about stocks, and I don't have someone telling me buy this, buy that, at this amount, at that amount, and I don't have the time to research it and dive into it. I've got a, self-supported ministry. I've got a family to take care of. I just can't get bogged down.
It's a volatility thing. Yeah.
For those of you guys who are left, there's 10 of you here. If you saw the slides, tvgssm.tradera.org. If you want to get started or you want more information, I can send it to all of you. Just email me at rogerp.gauthier, GAUTHIER, rogerp.gauthier at protonmail, PROTON, protonmail.com. I'll send you whatever other information. My goal here was to select the 3 leaders here by the end of this week. And then come Monday morning, just open up the floodgates and be consistent like a business, is talk to my mentor, Larry Thompson, used to tell me, pick a number that you can do every day, no matter what it is, whether it's 2 people a day, 5 people a day, 2 people to talk about the product, 2 people to talk about the business, whatever that number is for you is fine. Just pick a number that you can do every day, no matter what, whether the car breaks down, whether you had to go to the hospital, whether, your kids called in sick, whatever it is, pick a number that you can do every day and do that consistently. Is share the opportunity, share the business. But what we're going to do is with the leaders that want to do this, we'll sit down, we'll identify who you sense are your top leaders that you want to work with. We'll do another presentation like this, and we'll give you the information. We'll walk it through and help them make a decision as to whether this is something you want to do or not. Megan did this on the phone in the pandemic, and literally she called 8 people, and within the first few hours she had $500, and then by the end of the week she had $5,000 a month coming in, just by talking on the phone. So we'll do the same thing. I'll work with you guys. We'll pick the leaders. I think this is probably going to be the easiest, simplest way to fund TriVision, and I want to be able to bless you guys and provide the funding for you. I know Joanne was working with me in the insurance-based industry. That's where that woman heard us, or Karen, that's where you heard the 3 months. It's taking us close to 3 months to get our license, because there's so much information to learn, and that's too hard when you're trying to earn income, and Tradera doesn't have that. You could probably crank this out in a weekend if you wanted to, if you could set aside the time. But if you just disciplined yourself and set aside like 2 hours a day, you could get through it within 2 weeks. That's just for the trading. You don't have to be trained to share this with people. I mean, I'm not trained yet. I haven't even started the course, but I realize the potential of what's happening. And I'm just trying to share it with those that I love. I want to take them and help them and bless them because, like Dr. Needham says, I have a strong sense come October 1st, we're going to see some serious stuff going on. And I'm not trying to scare everybody. That's not it at all. We want to be alert in what's happening, and we want to take the proper steps I believe that God's going to supply all of our needs. And this is going to be one of the ways he does it, because we're not forced to operate based on the economic indicators in the United States. You know, my TriVision Global went to zero, guys, when we launched Heaven's Dream Builders Academy. And that's because people just didn't have money to invest. So, you know, and there's plenty of other businesses out there that have horror stories of what happened to them. And I don't want to be in that position again. I want to be able to bless the members of TVG. I want to bless my team, and I want to be able to continue pushing out content that's going to help people's lives. And I think that this is going to probably be one of the best ways to do it. So we've got to have multiple sources of revenue coming in. Karen knows about CSN. Joanne knows about Virtue Financial and FFS. And so it all depends on you guys and what you feel you're comfortable with. Like I said, there's 3 questions we ask. Can I earn income? Is it easy? Can I do it? And can I have fun? And I think you'll find that answer here. So anybody else questions? No? Go ahead, Karen.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
If I'm not one of the 3 people that comes on right away, can I come on later?
Yeah, you can, and we're going to still be growing. It's just, you know, the potential of what will happen will be, you know, a little bit less. It's like, you know, getting started when Amazon first started, right? You know, people are getting into Amazon now aren't necessarily getting the ride that those did when they first started.
Sure.
You know, but you got to do what is right for you, what the Lord puts on your heart, you know.
Yeah.
But there is a window here we have. I think, like I said, if they do another lockdown, we're going to see a big explosion of people looking for ways to make income. So the bigger your net is, if you think of your team as a net, the bigger that net is, the more it'll catch when we need to go fishing. So, but it's all up to you, Karen.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Hey, Roger, can I ask you a quick question?
Of course, that's what we're here for. Good to see you.
And you, I apologize. I missed a portion of it because someone ended up talking to me. Didn't expect her to like walk up and talk to me while I was on the phone, but I think I missed the portion where it was talked about like what actually is involved financially. Is it just the monthly membership, and then what you're actually using of your own money to trade, or is there something involved beyond that?
Yeah, no. So the course is $99 a month. So you can start off just doing the course if you want to do that. And if you refer 3 people, then your course is free. So now you're not paying anything, and you can go through the course at your own pace. The moment you want to start building a team, it's $15 for the IBO, and then your course goes back to being $99. So it's $15 plus $99 a month. But like I said, my goal is the first 7 days to help everybody get to $500 a month. That's basically 10 people who are using the course. You help them, and now you're making 500. So what's 99 plus 15 is 114 a month in business expense. That's it. Nothing else. And then whatever you do in your Tradera account with your money is up to you. However much you want to put into it, however much you want to trade. Megan started with, I think she said she started with $100 in her Tradera account. And now she within the first couple of weeks, she was like making 6,000. So just following the buy, and she still doesn't trade in the sense that she doesn't study it. She just takes that prompt you saw and, oh, buy that. Okay, I'll buy it. And, oh, sell it. Okay, I'll sell it. She just uses her mobile phone. That's it. So it's pretty straightforward. Doesn't take a lot of time, really, and it's an easy thing to do.
I think to summarize what you're saying, Roger, is the back office and training and the analysis and all that is the $99 a month.
Yeah, and forgive me, I forgot to mention there is analysis, so you're getting all their expertise and their recommendations, their buy and sell orders. That's all included with that.
So then you do that. That's $99 a month for as long as you either choose to, or till you can get 3 referrals. Then that scholarshiped, that $99 is scholarshiped once you have 3 referrals. Then if you choose to go beyond that as an IBO, then the $99 fee comes back plus an additional $15 a month as an IBO.
Yeah, the $99 that comes back is for all their expertise, all their coaching, all their help. That's part of that. Yeah, so that comes back plus the 15. So it's $114 a month is the monthly overhead. But the key is work with first getting your 3 as far as your course free, so you can start studying that. And then once you decide to pull the trigger on the IBO, like I said, that my goal is let's get everybody at $500 a month first, so that 114 doesn't take a bite out of their rear end. So 500 minus 114 is what, 370 something, right? Something like that, or 380 something, 385, something like that, 386. So you're making 386 profit, and then
Right. So no matter which tier you grow into, that 114 comes out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's part of how your commissions are coming in from the business side of it. And I'll be happy to like share with you videos of the compensation plan and all that too. But the first goal was just, I want to let you guys be aware of this because I think it's a huge blessing, and it's going to open up some serious windows of heaven and blessing that there's not room enough to receive it. As not that I'm going to take the initiative and the ambition that Megan is. I mean, she's great. I don't know that I could be on fire for 7 days a week, hours at a day like she has. I've got a family. I want to be with them. I want to treat this as a normal, I'll spend a little bit of time in the morning and the afternoon, and then continue to do what I need to do to share messages, write content, and do the other things that I have to do. Anybody else? Let's see. Look in the question. Okay, Ella, will do. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you guys unless you have any other questions. If you want to jump on board, let me know. We're going to come Monday. I'm going to really start. I think we have a narrow window here. I'm calling this a digital arc. Come October 1st, as Angela knows, she sent me that email or that post that Mark Zuckerberg sent out about the change in their terms and agreements. I think we're going to see that across the board on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that. I think they're going to do what they can to quiet the Christian voice from communicating with each other and sharing what's going on. So we're going to need other ways of communicating and getting the word out. And I think we're going to see some, his wife is really seasoned in hearing from the Lord. And she shares there's going to be challenges. So this is going to be one of the ways to mitigate that challenge.
Yeah, they're going to try. Notice try.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean succeed.
Right. Exactly.
They will try, but they forget who was bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's got
That's all right, because I think
bigger
there's opportunity there, because in that sort of moment is when of that frustration, there's things brewing. People are coming up with new technology and new ways, new platforms to,
right. Just like when the printing press came out, nobody knew what was about to happen, and they revolutionized the world. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But that's it, you guys. I mean, I'll let you go if you want to. Like I said, you saw the link, tvgssm.org. tradera.org, and just reach out to me. And if it's something you want to do, if you need to have more conversations, we can make that happen. But we've got a narrow window here, so I want to try to help and bless you guys as much as possible. I think, like I said, enough said. I think this is going to be the simplest, easiest way to finally get the economic engine running for all of our needs. So
Thank you.
you betcha, Karen. It's good to see you. How are you liking that book, by the way?
I am liking it.
Good. I know.
Yeah.
You got that book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Escaping Economic Slavery. Yeah. It's eye-opening, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I had no idea they were pulling some of this stuff on us until I read it. I was like, really? Oh, no wonder. That makes sense. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'll let you guys go. Have a blessed day. Let me know what you want to do. Like I said, come Monday, we're going out the gate. So I want to have the 3 top people that want to do it. And I've got a couple of people I've been working with too. So just let me know, and then we'll go from there. I love you all, guys.
Thank you,
Mm.
Roger, very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
You betcha. God bless you all.
All right. God bless.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Roger. Bye.
You betcha. Thank you for being here, Angie. All right, Joanne. Bye-bye. Anita, bye. Ginger, Robert. All right, guys. Talk to you later.